Forgot what I was going to call this, but unless I remembered in the course of this video, I'll call it emotional stamina. So I was thinking about skills and what is it that really upsets me that I feel like I'm lacking, besides the kind of obvious stuff: money, social support, social status, access to resources, feeling of like progression, that I'm moving up in the world, up in my own estimation, up in the estimation of those I care about. And yeah, the answer I came up with was I know I forgot it already. Emotional stamina, let's say. That wasn't the original phrase. It was a little bit better than that. But that feeling when you want something and you're kind of getting excited about it, but you don't want to let yourself get excited about it. Whether it's a goal or something you want to do or someone you want to reach out to or something you want to make happen. And yeah, and this has been a struggle throughout my whole life to some degree or another, which kind of it's probably peaked in my early 20s, where I was just very obsessive and very driven in a kind of a crazy direction. You can watch my video about my disordered eating if you want to hear me get into that portion of my life. But yeah, there's this kind of hunger that I have, I can't speak for others, where you just want to start doing something, whether it's like reading more or fitness or getting better at your job or getting better at a hobby like chess or learning a foreign language or whatever you're into. And you kind of like get psyched about it in your mind and your emotions. But then when you go to do it, there's just that feeling like, am I really going to do this? This kind of like looking at yourself like you're just not a serious person. Like you just, yeah, I think we all want to, I don't know, maybe I'm aging myself here, but I'm sure a lot of even younger people have seen the Rocky movies, and everyone's familiar with that kind of movie montage where someone's down in the dumps and then all of a sudden, you see Rocky's climbing up the mountains, he's, getting stronger, like sums it up. And yeah, and then all of a sudden he's at the top of his game, and we all want to be able to do that to ourselves. But the emotional stamina is a skill, and it's a skill that's really tricky to develop. And I just feel like it's so easy to kind of lose the momentum and get caught in a story of that you're the type of person who always loses that momentum. And yeah, I'm not here to offer a solution or 5 easy steps. I'm just sharing my experience that I'm sure other people can relate to. And hey, if you want to give me advice, feel free to comment down below or just relate. But advice would be great. So yeah, emotional stamina. I'm trying to think of the other word for it. The other way I had to phrase it. So yeah, let me know what you think. What's been working for me lately? And I say working, I'm very impatient. I'm very annoyed and not happy with my progression or lack thereof in my daily life. But I'm just trying to stick with little things and just really kind of trying to see what's working. Like I track my oh yeah, I got this little ring. I took it off to do dishes, but it tracks my heart rate and my sleep and REM and deep sleep. I don't know how accurate it is, but I notice a pretty good correlation with like how I feel when I wake up before I look at my sleep score. Yeah, and it's some good insight. Like if I eat a big heavy meal late at night, I know my heart rate's going to be elevated and my sleep is going to be less good. But then there's sometimes when I'm just anxious at night and my head is spinning, and no matter what I do, like I don't feel like I'm going to get a good sleep, and then I don't get a good sleep, so that's frustrating. But just noticing certain things. Like one time I was just so exhausted I didn't meditate, and I got a pretty good sleep score, so I'm like, maybe meditation is just like not for me. I'm not really moving in a positive direction. I'm just kind of sitting there bored, and I'm not really going deep. I'm not really having good insights, and I'm not even relaxing. You can also track your like heart rate and heart rate variability while you're meditating, and sometimes my heart rate variability actually decreased while meditating. So it was very, very aggravating. But then second night in a row I didn't meditate, my sleep was terrible. And then once I started doing it again, my sleep was better. So you just have to realize in life that stuff is going to take a long time sometimes. And you do what you can and don't beat yourself up. Last night I was just thinking about just the habit of self-judgment, of instantly assessing, like, this is good, this is bad, this is shit, this is like a disaster. And it's just so instinctive and so quick. I think part of it is just innate to any organism, and part of it is social conditioning and human conditioning. But to get past that, maybe not 100%. Well, hey, let's dream big. To get past it 100%, to where I can just like the Terminator, just kind of scan without preconceived notions, and a little more motion than the Terminator, and not kind of knee jerk. That knee jerk judgment, I think, is part of what kills our emotional resilience, our emotional stamina, because we're in self-protection mode. It hurts to like try really hard. And I think a lot of this comes from the education system in school and competition, and kind of being seen by others and being judged by your parents and peers and teachers, that like, that little kid excuse, like, oh, well, I wasn't really trying. If I was trying, like, I could do this. And, but when you get older, you're like, this is your life, like, if you're not trying, what are you doing? Better to like try and be mediocre than to not try and be like total garbage. And also a lot of these metrics are, you have to realize they're arbitrary, and you're never going to achieve them if they're just arbitrary, right? Like there's no getting away from the why. If you don't have a strong enough why, like Nietzsche said, you're just not gonna get to that pinnacle. Like, if you don't really want it, and it's really hard, why would you do it? That doesn't even make sense. So yeah, I feel like it's more of a process of discovery than of like push, because if you're just kind of shoving yourself to do something, you're like bullying yourself. You're like, and when you're doing that, you don't even have the time to turn around. Well, you do have the time to turn around and say, like, what are you, like, why are you pushing me in this direction? I mean, that's kind of the internal struggle that we all have, I think. There's that harsh inner critic, kind of like taskmaster whipping us, and then there's the inner rebellious child that's like, yo, I'm just not going to do it unless you tell me why it's important. And you really have to feel it. I don't know, that's another thing I feel like I've realized in the last year or two. Like, if you don't feel it, it's just not going to happen. You have to like feel it beyond a shadow of a doubt, to the point where nobody can tell you otherwise. And feeling it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to achieve what you set out to, but feeling it means that that what you're doing is what you should be doing, and that's more important than your actual result, because your life is in the doing. Whatever result you get, whatever result you get, you're only going to care about if it's what you really are striving for anyway. If it's not what you're really striving for, even if you get the result, you're going to be like, oh, was I lucky? Like, why don't I feel something? So yeah, I'm going to keep this one under 10 minutes as well. Thanks for watching, and feel free to give me your own insights. As you can see, I'm no expert on this, but thank you.